Tonight, flight disruptions and stranded travelers as Air Canada flight attendants walk off the job.
It is clear that the parties are no longer, are not any closer to resolving some of the key issues that remain.
Now, the federal government is stepping in to force flight attendants back to work. A messy response to the province's recycling push.
I can't think of any stores that would be set up to be able to do what these people do.
Some retailers say they're not ready to accept empties, and so they may pull alcohol off store shelves. Plus, the quest to stay cool is about to get a little more challenging.
I think that's too soon because kids need to be having fun. The holidays aren't over.
Some city pools are set to close down before the end of summer, much to the chagrin of many residents. Good evening. We begin tonight with the latest on the labor dispute between Air Canada and its flight attendants. The federal government has intervened just a few hours into the strike, saying it will use a third-party mediator to determine a new collective agreement and to force striking workers back on the job. CTV's Josh Morano joins us live in studio. Josh spent much of the day at the airport today, and despite this development, Josh, many travelers say they're still dealing with travel headaches.
Yeah, Austin, there was a lot of frustration at the Air Canada desk today. The strike has some people stuck, waiting on the phone for rebookings after finding out their flights were canceled once they showed up. And for people I spoke with today, it means missed family milestones, business meetings, and heading home.
I'm really mad because I was trying to make my return back to my country.
With Air Canada flight attendants walking off the job Saturday morning, many travelers were left confused and frustrated.
I spent 1 week here in Canada. I booked everything. And tomorrow I have a special event, like it's a really important appointment for me. And I don't want to miss it.
Boisia is not alone. Dozens of Air Canada flights out of Ottawa canceled, leaving residents searching for answers.
We were wondering with the ongoing strike what is happening right now. So we don't know if it was going to cancel because we don't want the last minute cancel.
I support them. Go for it. Like, I want them to get paid more.
The federal government is now stepping in, ordering binding arbitration between the airline and the union and ordering operations to resume.
There was an offer tabled by the employer, and the talks broke down. And so it is clear that the parties are no longer, are not any closer to resolving some of the key issues that remain, and they will need help with an arbitrator.
The union representing flight attendants says the government is violating their charter right to take job action, giving Air Canada exactly what it wants.
We are incredibly disgusted that the Liberal government has been speaking out of both sides of its mouth. They said that the bargaining table was the appropriate place to make this address, and here they are having invoked 107.
There's other airlines in Canada that I will not fly because of constant delays and rerouting. I would not expect this from Air Canada at all.
That impact is felt by Tanya McKechnie, an Ottawa resident stuck in Calgary after her flight on Friday was canceled. She says Air Canada was unable to get her a flight home, forcing her to spend $1,400 on a one-way from WestJet on Tuesday.
It's not just my travel plans, it's my life. So it would be nice to just have some appreciation for that fact that I am one of hundreds of thousands of people that are stuck.
As for when operations could resume, the airline says it's premature to comment about restarting the airline. For now, it's advising travelers not to go to the airport unless they have a confirmed booking and their flight is shown as operating.
So for now, all Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge flights will be grounded, and some travelers I spoke to today were able to rebook their flights to a later date. However, all Air Canada Jazz flights are still on because they are operated by a third party and will operate as usual. Austin.
Okay, CTV's Josh Morano reporting live for us tonight. Josh, thank you. And the Ontario government has unveiled a $1 billion package to help industries affected by the Trump tariffs. As CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports, some local brewers say tariffs could soon force an increase in the cost of cans.
At Whippersnapper Brewery in Bell's Corners, they've been planning ahead to avoid tariffs as long as possible.
We've been trying to buy ahead a little bit and be more ready in advance of what was being threatened.
Owner Ian McMartin says the tariffs are just another cost increase on a long list.
Yeah, everything goes up. Everything's gone up like remarkably since COVID, since the pandemic. So price of labor has gone up, price of materials has gone up, the cans, taxes have gone up.
The price of cans is going up, so that's a cost that we have to incur in the short term.
Just down the street at Kitchissippi Brewery, owner Paul Meek is seeing the price of cans rise, but he says it's not significant yet.
A beer could go up maybe 5, maybe 10 cents. It's not a massive thing, but because we're in a market economy, there'll be other companies that have bigger buying power, have bigger holding power, that they may say be able to hold off on their increases for 6 months to a year. We're not in that position.
Ontario's finance minister recently announced a $1 billion emergency loan program to help protect jobs in the auto, aluminum, and steel industries. Those sectors are currently not protected by the current free trade agreement with the U.S.
These will be loans from anywhere between $250,000 to $40 million. So think about it as providing a bridging, a liquidity, to kind of stay in business, help keep workers on the job, so that that gives them an opportunity to pivot to the new world.
One food economist says what you pay could depend on the value of the can compared to what's inside.
If it's a beer can, it might be a relatively small proportion of the total value of the product. If it is a can of beans, as an example, or a can of tomatoes, the can might be a bigger chunk of the cost of that product, so you'll see a bigger change in that, a bigger percentage change in that price.
As for Whippersnapper Brewery, they say their smaller operation might be working in their favor.
We're not doing as many cans as other people, so it might not be impacting us as much.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Meantime, some grocery stores could soon stop selling alcohol altogether in response to a looming rule. Stores that sell liquor will be required to start accepting recycling and empty liquor bottles starting on January 1st. But some large retailers warn they simply are not equipped to do that. CTV's Kimberly Johnson has more on this story. Kimberly.
That's right, Austin. Premier Doug Ford's plan to expand liquor sales into stores is meant to create convenience. But one group that represents big retail names like Costco and Walmart is warning some retailers say the new rule starting January 1st is anything but.
This is the first time Sam New is turning in his empty cans in years. He says he'd be happy to see more places to make returns.
You know, it's easy for people that can return anywhere they want to.
Starting January 1st, the province is requiring every store that sells beer and wine to also accept empty cans and bottles in its recycling program. But the Retail Council of Canada warns because of the new rule, some retailers may stop selling alcohol altogether because some stores aren't equipped to run the program. The Retail Council is also warning that the plan poses health and safety risks, is costly, and some stores don't have the space and staff to accept beer and wine bottles.
Most stores, I can't think of any stores that would be set up to be able to do what these people do.
Peter Finney brings bottles multiple times a week for charity, and he says the job doesn't look easy for those inside.
You have people that professionally collect bottles, and I mean, they'll show up and they maybe have a couple of thousand beer cans and hundreds of wine bottles. Now, if they showed up at some other place, it would jam them up pretty quickly, and then you got the awful smell.
In a statement to CP24 this week, the Ontario Ministry of Finance says that more than 400 grocery stores and convenience stores are already participating in the recycling program, with more expected to join. Customers like these hope recycling remains easy, as more beer stores are set to close in the future.
If it does close, then I don't know what I would do. Might have to go in my recycle bin if grocery stores or corner stores don't offer that option.
And to give you a sense of how many bottles and cans we're talking about here, in 2024, the beer store said that its locations collected more than 434 million empty containers through the recycling program. Austin?
That is a lot of drinks. Kimberly, thank you very much for this. CTV's Kimberly Johnson reporting live for us tonight. Ottawa fire crews worked to contain a blaze near Lansdowne this morning. Firefighters were called to the scene on Homewood Avenue shortly around 10:40 this morning. And they worked fast to prevent the flames from spreading. The fire was declared under control within just over 10 minutes, and paramedics say one person was taken to hospital with minor injuries. And an industrial incident at a construction site forced the closure of Carling Avenue for several hours today. Ottawa police say emergency crews were called to the city's west end just after 8:20 this morning, and they closed the westbound lanes of Carling between Churchill and Clyde Avenues. Paramedics say one person also sustained a minor injury. We're going to take our first look at the weather forecast, and it was another hot one, and that's been kind of just the story of the summer so far. So as we take a look through our Centennial Glass Skycam, it's currently 31 degrees out there right now, and so as I mentioned, it is quite warm. And as we take a look at our weather forecast and what to expect, tonight's lows in Gatineau 15 degrees. I was a little trigger happy on the button there, but I can tell you that tonight's low here in Ottawa is also around 15 degrees. Maniwaki expecting potential for a thunderstorm tonight with a low of 14 before we warm up in Ottawa tomorrow to 21 degrees. And we do have a little rain in the forecast. We'll have more on this in just a little bit, but it is great news because things have been exceptionally dry, and so all the rain we can get at this point is going to be welcomed. You can see Mont Tremblant at 17 degrees for tomorrow's high, and a chance for a thunderstorm there as well. Montreal 20 degrees, Gatineau at 22. Well, if you plan on heading to any of the city's wading pools, your time is running out. They're about to close, and some families are now searching for other ways to stay cool for the rest of summer. Some parents certainly are not too happy about this. CTV's Camille Wilson was out chatting with some families today and joins us live in studio. Camille.
Austin, it's the middle of August and it has been a scorcher of a summer here in the capital. More than 20 wading pools in the city are closing for the season, and tomorrow that's leaving many people asking why so early. Julie Melanson loves coming to McNabb Park with her daughter to cool off.
Kids should be able to play outside, really enjoy, decompress before school starts, and be off their screens especially.
This weekend, 23 of the city's wading pools are closing for the season, leaving dozens of neighborhoods out of a place to take a swim.
I'd really appreciate being able to take my daughter out to the wading pool, especially after work or weekends, when it's hot like it is today.
How do you feel about the swimming pool closing tomorrow?
Sad. Yeah, it's been here for a long time, so it's sad to see it go.
That's so sad, because my kids really love it.
On hot days, nearby residents say these wading pools are a great place to cool down, but now they'll need to look for other options. How do you feel about the pool closing?
I'm not too happy.
It's sad the pool is closing early.
They should keep going until it's cold, until it's at least 15 degrees and the kids are complaining.
Today's high is 31 degrees with more hot days to come, making it the perfect way for kids to cool down. And parents are arguing there's still time before the end.
I think that's too soon because kids need to be having fun. The holidays aren't over.
But there's still a couple weeks before September, and it just limits the amount of options.
Since most of the staff monitoring the city's pools are students, many speculate the pools are closing early so they can prepare to go back to school.
Obviously, these are students that are, working at the wading pools, but at least until the school starts. So I'm as the city could reinforce that.
We reached out to the city to ask why the wading pools were closing early, but they did not get back to us in time for broadcast. Parents I spoke with today say they would love for the pools to stay open at least until Labor Day or the end of the month. Austin.
Especially this year, given how hot it's been, and on a day like today as well. CTV's Camille Wilson reporting live for us tonight. Camille, thank you very much for this. Well, in just 2 days, voters in the Alberta riding of Battle River Crowfoot are heading back to the polls, some for the third time this year. But this election will be unlike any other. There are a record-shattering number of candidates on the ballot, and as CTV's Colton Prale explains, it's frustrating for some residents who are dealing with a new way to vote at the polls.
People simply can't believe it.
This election is going to take 4 days just to vote.
Yeah.
Seriously.
In Camrose, Alberta, and across the Battle River Crowfoot riding, the signs of an election are everywhere. All that's missing are most of the candidates running. Of the 214 candidates running, 201 are connected to a protest of Canada's first past-the-post voting system.
The basic problem is the rules are being made by the people who are elected now, and they're going to protect themselves and nobody else.
The same group also protested Pierre Poilievre's Carleton riding, where there were 91 candidates on this ballot. Instead of having a ballot twice as long, Voters in this election will have a booklet like this one with the names of every candidate so they can write in their vote.
Worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah. And as far as the names goes, I had the name written on a piece of paper, so I make sure I spell it right.
Elections Canada says correct spelling doesn't matter so long as the intention is clear, but votes that only show the name of the party won't count.
If the point is to improve democracy, this achieves the exact opposite effect. And the reason for that is it's confusing and complicated for voters.
There are also some in the riding who say Conservatives are taking advantage of the unusual process with signs like this one, which they claim are too similar to colors used by Elections Canada.
The sign apparently is giving people instructions how to vote, but then that gets confused as Elections Canada is telling us who to vote for.
Elections Canada says the content of election signs is largely unregulated, so long as candidates show who authorized them. Voters who have concerns can contact the Elections Commissioner, something some have already done. Colton Prail, CTV News, Camrose.
The Great Lakes Police Motorcycle Training Seminar went ahead today in Canada.
It's a chance for police riders and civilian riders to improve their skills and make themselves a better rider and meet other like-minded individuals who are trying to be safer riders in our community.
This year's event marks the seminar's 25th anniversary. It brings together law enforcement professionals and civilians to enhance their skills, foster collaboration, and strengthen our riding community's safety.
But we had an extremely productive meeting and many points were agreed to.
After the break, we'll have a recap of that highly anticipated meeting in Alaska between U.S. President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart.
CTV Ottawa is your home for local news.
Katie Griffin, CTV News in the Byward Market.
Centertown.
Canada.
Stittsville, bringing you local stories that matter the most to you.
Kimberly Fowler in Westboro.
Orleans. Barhaven.
From every corner of the community.
In the Glebe.
Manotick.
Merrickville.
Brockville.
From the team you trust, we are CTV News Ottawa.
Live, local, breaking news. CTV News Ottawa.
The highly anticipated meeting in Alaska between U.S. President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart wrapped up without a deal to end the war in Ukraine. Still, both leaders say progress was made.
Our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We have very thorough negotiations that were quite useful. I would like to thank once again my American counterpart for the proposal to travel out here to Alaska.
But we had an extremely productive meeting and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there.
Trump took to social media today, posting on Truth Social that his meeting with Putin was successful. He says he spoke to other world leaders following the summit. He also said that Russia and Ukraine should work on a peace agreement, not just a ceasefire, to bring a complete end to the war in that region. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he plans to meet with Donald Trump on Monday to discuss details on ending the war in Ukraine. It comes after Zelensky says the two leaders spoke on the phone following Trump's meeting with Putin on Friday. The Ukrainian president says there are, quote, positive signals from the U.S. on guaranteeing Ukrainian security. And on his way to Alaska yesterday, President Trump issued another trade threat. This time, it was the semiconductor sector that he set his sights on. CTV's Rachel Aiello now with how those threats could impact an industry that supports over 120,000 jobs here in Canada.
Donald Trump says he's about to send tariffs on semiconductors climbing. Aboard Air Force One, the U.S. president declared that either next week or the week after, he'll be taking new trade action against the microchips that help power virtually all electronic devices.
I'm going to have a rate that is going to be lower at the beginning. Then that gives them a chance to come in and build, and very high after a certain period of time. And if they don't build here, they have to pay a very high tariff, which doesn't work, so they'll come and build.
The Canadian semiconductor industry, which does big business south of the border, says Trump's threat could have major implications, not only for consumers, but the country as a whole.
Semiconductors underpin the entire innovation economy. And if you're not able to access semiconductors, you're not actually able to be sovereign in the ways that we mean it in the 21st century.
With another sector now bracing for Trump's impact, new polling indicates anxiety in this country over the state of Canada-U.S. relations is skyrocketing. Nanos' latest numbers show that in the last month, Trump and the state of trade talks overtook the economy and jobs as the top national issue of concern.
Knowing that as time goes by and as Canadian jobs are at risk because of this trade uncertainty, that there will be increasing pressure for the government, not just to get some sort of deal and to bring stability to the relationship, but to also help industries that are currently suffering as a result of Donald Trump.
Trump's tariff agenda is also prompting Canada to look elsewhere. Later this month, the international trade minister will be in Brazil to try to revive a deal with the South American economic bloc. And next month, Prime Minister Mark Carney will travel to Mexico to talk trade. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Tragedy in the Greater Toronto area earlier this morning. A child has been pronounced dead after being shot in North York. According to police, officers were called to an apartment at around 12:30 this morning. The victim, an 8-year-old boy, was rushed to a local pediatric hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police say the boy was struck by a stray bullet while sleeping in his bedroom. Adding all available resources are being directed to find the suspects.
What's happened here is a cowardly, disgusting act of violence, and every resource available in the city is being allocated to this right now. Unfortunately, I don't have a description to provide for you at the moment, but we are working very, very hard to find those people responsible and hold them accountable.
Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow also issuing a statement today saying she shares the anger and pain the boy's death has caused and that her heart goes out to the family, loved ones, and the wider community. Officials in Nova Scotia say a pilot is recovering after their helicopter crashed while fighting the Long Lake wildfire.
Obviously, we have one less helicopter now. It crashed, so it has to be investigated by the Transport Canada. So it does remove one helicopter from our group.
There are 15 active wildfires burning across Nova Scotia. The Long Lake fire grew to more than 800 hectares overnight, thanks to wind, rising temperatures, and dropping humidity throughout the course of the day. An investigation into the helicopter crash is now ongoing. And here in Ontario, there is a major shift when it comes to the workday for tens of thousands of people. The province has ordered its employees back to the office, and the question now is, which cities will follow? CTV's Beth McDonnell reports at least one mayor says they will.
GTA municipalities are taking note of Ontario's civil servants being ordered back to the office full-time come January.
I think it's the right call.
Brampton's mayor saying workers perform better in office and his city will do the same.
I believe we're more productive in the workplace, being present, and the fact that the provincial government is being the first mover to return to full in-person work weeks is a good thing.
Toronto's public service, like other municipalities, has many first responders, transit operators, and maintenance workers. In all, it has close to 44,000 employees, and the city says of those, 30,000 or 70% can't perform their jobs remotely, with more than 12,000 doing its hybrid work program, which requires them to be in office 2 or 3 days a week. Mayor Olivia Chow doesn't seem eager to make further changes.
We'll examine that, but majority of it really we already have most of our workers at work.
Torontonians' opinions are mixed.
Go to the office when you have to. More time for the family.
It makes work a little bit less accessible for people. You know, like, for example, if someone has a disability.
There's too much of a chance that they won't be working a full day if they're just staying at home.
While some worry what more commuting will do to the city's already snarled streets.
The traffic for sure will be very worse. Right now, already worse.
Mississauga's mayor says 80% of its 8,400 workers are already back full-time. And since January, the remaining 20% must come in 3 days a week.
We monitor it.
And there's two things we have to monitor: the impact on the public, which we do surveys, and we take a lot of care in talking to people and saying, you know, are you getting your service? Are you getting your calls returned, and so forth. And we're also monitoring our staff.
She says all department heads report employees being productive and believes the city is getting the same efficiency from people, whether they're remote or at the office. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
So it was pretty wild. I was never a serious swimmer before this.
After the break, how an Ontario teacher used part of his summer break to complete a major feat of endurance, swimming across the English Channel.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, CTV Morning Live, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
A reminder to commuters, there are some changes to public transit service this weekend. No trains are running east of Tremblay Station today and tomorrow. There are R1 buses that are running between Herdman and Blair stations, and there will be a shuttle between St. Laurent and Cyrilville Station. The service changes are in effect to accommodate Stage 2 of the East Extension integration work and work on the tunnel at the St. Laurent Station. And we're going to take our first full look at the weather forecast. Again, it was very hot today, and things are going to start to cool off. And the good news is that there is some rain in the forecast. As you know, there's a burn ban in place here in Ottawa. Hopefully we get some sustained showers. But first, let's take a look out east. Pretty chilly for this time of year out in St. John's, just 10 degrees right now, compared to Fredericton at 27 degrees. Real temperature swings there. We're currently sitting at 32. So we are the hot spot here in Ontario, according to this map. Windsor close behind us at 30 degrees, Quebec City at 26. As we take a look out west, there are some hot spots around the prairies, but nothing like what we're experiencing here. Regina is one of the warmest cities, 24 degrees there right now. Calgary at 22 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud in Vancouver, and currently sitting at 21. Now, tonight, we do expect a low of 18 degrees. And then, as I mentioned, that chance of showers by tomorrow afternoon and a high of just 21 degrees. So a lot cooler than what we've become accustomed to. And again, hopefully those showers are sustained to really saturate the soil and reduce the risk of any brush fires. The low this evening in the Ottawa Valley, 15 degrees. That same high of 21 for tomorrow afternoon. Along the Seaway, not much in terms of a cool down tonight. Still 20 degrees for this evening, and then 23 by the time tomorrow afternoon rolls around, with wind coming in from the northeast at 14 kilometers per hour. So there is a 40% chance of rain, and likely just going to be some light showers on and off at some points before things clear up on Monday. Nothing but sun in the forecast, but much cooler for the next 7 days than what we've experienced for the past 7 days. And so for a lot of people, that will be some welcomed relief. An Ontario teacher used part of his summer break to complete a major feat of endurance. He swam across the English Channel despite never attempting a distance swim before. CTV's John Musselman has his story.
Etobicoke High School teacher Sam Garrison will have an incredible story to share with his students when he returns to the classroom next month. The Martin Grove Collegiate Institute math and history teacher successfully swam the English Channel on July 27th.
So it was pretty wild. I was never a serious swimmer before this.
Garrison took 3 years to prepare for it, doing laps in local pools and training in Lake Ontario. This summer, he made the plunge into the chilly channel waters.
One thing they say, like mentally, it's very around 7-8 hours is where people start to think about giving up. And so I just wrote on my arm. I just wrote in big letters. It's a kind of a phrase my coach always tells me: is just never give up.
He didn't, swimming in darkness with glow sticks attached to his body so he was visible to ships in the channel. Garrison was accompanied by a safety boat all the way, a grueling 36-kilometer swim from the port of Dover in England to just west of Calais in France. It took him 16 hours of nonstop swimming in cold water, fighting against strong currents and stinging jellyfish.
So the purple ones are the worst. Those those felt like getting a bunch of wasp stings all at once. And
the crew supplied him with food and water. He could not touch the boat the whole way over.
They can throw feeds to you, so pretty much everything is liquid, so like carbohydrate drinks, things like that, just to give you energy.
Garrison admits he had thoughts of giving up, and it was so hard on his body. But his sister is dealing with cancer treatment. She sent a message from home to the boat. He was able to read it when the crew showed him on a whiteboard from the boat.
It was a message that said, you know, we're both in our own marathons right now. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm here in the water alone, but I'm not alone.
Garrison says the swim was a personal challenge. He also helped raise more than $9,000 for the Daily Bread Food Bank. When he landed on the beach in France, he couldn't believe he actually did it.
Just overcome with emotion and just collapsed on that beach, just thinking about everything along the way. Everything just hit me in that moment.
Garrison says he doesn't have any big plans to top this feat, but he has been overwhelmed by the support from family, friends, co-workers, and even strangers.
Like I'm being approached by people that I've never met before, and they're like, it's so heartwarming. They're saying, like, you know, you've inspired me to do something. You've inspired me, like, just to make some small change.
A swim of a lifetime and a life lesson he can share with his students in September. John Musselman, CTV News.
We're not 100% sure how long the daycare will be closed for.
Still ahead, how a dead bat confirmed to have rabies has forced the closure of an Ontario daycare, and parents say they have concerns because several other bats have also been located in the facility.
Hey, Ottawa, know someone who secretly makes our city amazing? We want to hear about them.
You know, the kind of person who goes above and beyond without ever asking for anything in return.
Because Move 100, CTV, and Lazy Boy want to give them a huge shout-out.
We're searching for Ottawa's unsung heroes, the everyday people doing extraordinary things. Nominate someone for a chance to win them a $5,000 Lazy Boy gift card.
Nominate your local hero today.
Let's celebrate those who make Ottawa a better place.
iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford store, and Eastern Ontario's Ford EV leader.
It is time now to check in with our iHeartRadio Weekender, Tanea Taylor. Tanea.
It's weekend one of Ottawa Greek Fest, and they are turning up the heat for their 50th anniversary. It's happening all weekend at the Hellenic Events Center and features great food, live entertainment, and of course, lots more. Definitely a feast for all of your senses. They also have free shuttle service, free parking, and free admission. What more could you possibly ask for? The Russell Fair is also underway this weekend. Loads of family fun and some great live local music as well. Plus, of course, the can't miss Demolition Derby and lots for the kids, like Gabby's Cat-tastic Dance Party and a visit from Paw Patrol. Day and weekend passes are just $15, child passes $6, and kids 6 and under get in for free. And last today, you still have time to catch the RBC Ottawa International, presented in partnership with RBC Royal Bank. This features some of the very best horseback riders from around the world. They're competing for the biggest prize in the history of this tournament, which is $340,000 US. It's at Wesley Clover Park. Tickets are $15. Kids 12 and under get in free. Lots more happening around the capital this weekend. The full list and all the details is at ctvottawa.ca/weekenders. For the iHeartRadio Weekenders, my name is Tanea Taylor. Have a great one.
iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford store, and Eastern Ontario's Ford EV leader.
A bat was recently found inside a daycare in Brantford, and it has tested positive for rabies. Parents say they are concerned that several other bats have also been located inside the facility. CTV's Hannah Schmidt reports.
It's the kind of message that makes parents' stomachs drop. A notice from their children's daycare, warning of a bat inside, later confirmed to have rabies.
That was kind of our turning point, that we are going to just have an overabundance of caution.
And then another bat sighting.
There's 2 bats, a live one and a dead one. We figured it was in best interest to just get a better safe than sorry, get my son a rabies shot.
A parent who wished to stay anonymous due to concerns over their child's private health information told CTV News they were alarmed by the news prompting them to pull their child out of daycare. Grand Erie Public Health says anyone who had direct contact with the deceased rabid bat found on August 11th has already been contacted and advised to start post-exposure prophylaxis.
We do not have concern at this time or have not been notified at this time of anyone who had a high-risk exposure, which would involve a bite or a scratch.
The daycare says no one came into contact with the second live bat that was found flying around the facility's second floor. Once the deceased bat was confirmed rabies positive and the second bat was sighted, the daycare was temporarily closed on August 13th.
We're not 100% sure how long the daycare will be closed for. We're hopeful that over the course of the next few days, we'll be able to report back to the parents.
But parents say they were stunned to learn there had been bat sightings months earlier. Sightings they say were never shared with families.
So again, it just seems like a big disconnect somewhere. And I think that's the frustration of, I know for us and probably a lot of other parents.
The daycare says those bats were found alive in a bin outside in June. No one touched them, and they were removed without incident.
Our maintenance person came and took the tote and brought these 2 live bats outside of the facility's grounds and released them safely as required by the law because they are protected as an endangered species. It wasn't an incident in terms of anyone coming in contact with it. At the time, the centre didn't see the need to concern parents.
The centre now working with a wildlife control company to remediate the building. While a public health investigation is underway into the circumstances surrounding the incident, Creative Minds Daycare will remain closed until the facility has been fully inspected and it is confirmed that no additional bats are present. Officials say the daycare will reopen once it's deemed safe, and updates will be made available as the investigation continues. Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Brantford.
Lets it fly.
In a new arena for the afternoon and in the postseason, we tell you how the Ottawa Blackjacks fared against the Scarborough Shooting Stars when we return.
Ottawa is always on the move.
We're a big city
With a laid-back vibe.
where foodies love their sweets,
And markets bursting with flavor.
wrapped up in waterways.
And hot summer days.
This is a city where culture is on display.
And the future.
Meets the past.
Where people come together.
Always proud.
Often loud. Whee!
And positively the best place to live.
We move with you, Ottawa!
In tonight's big picture, a cargo ship remains grounded in the St. Lawrence River tonight. Crews are now unloading parts of its cargo, trying to lighten the ship in order to free it. Other cargo vessels are still able to get through, though they are being forced to travel slower to get around the grounded ship. That ship has been there since Tuesday. We now want to share some details on some of the other stories that you need to know right now. And to do this, Kimberly Fowler joins us.
Well, thank you, Austin. Ottawa's Rapid FC back on the pitch this afternoon, visiting the Montreal Roses.
And ball chipping over top.
Montreal with one of their best chances in the second half, but Ottawa's Melissa Dagenet keeps it out of the net. BD Prim, she scored 2 goals early in the first half for the Rapid. She leads the league with 14 goals on the season. 2-0, it was your final score. The Rapid play next week on Sunday, and that'll be at TD Place Stadium against the Vancouver Rise.
Lets it fly. And he got it.
Shakir Daniel with the 3 for Ottawa, but the Blackjacks, they had very little to celebrate in the CEBL Eastern Conference semi-final this afternoon over at Le Centre Slush Puppy. That was in Gatineau. This game was pretty much dominated by the Scarborough Shooting Stars from tip-off. Ottawa loses 114-81, putting an end to their 2025 season.
We have lacrosse demonstrations. We have a lot of cultural representation on the stage. We've had Mexican dancers, singers. We've had Inuit throat singers, Arctic Games demonstrations. So there's lots to see.
And the Ottawa Blackjacks, they were playing in Gatineau today. That's because hundreds of Indigenous athletes from right across the globe were at TD Place for the 2025 Masters Indigenous Games. Over the weekend, athletes are competing in a range of contemporary and traditional competitions, and the games are on until tomorrow. And a reminder, don't be surprised if you see military vehicles on highways in Ottawa and Eastern Ontario this weekend for Canadian Armed Forces annual training exercises. About 1,500 reservists will be taking part in transport and supply convoys. That's between Ottawa and Petawawa, Peterborough, and Toronto. Army vehicles will be traveling along several highways, including the 417, the 401, and Highway 7 on their way to Garrison, Petawawa. And the convoys, they will be returning next weekend.
This is a challenging time for many families. There's a significant food insecurity issue in our community right now, so the more help we can give to the Barrhaven Food Cupboard and to other food banks, the better.
That's Mayor Mark Sutcliffe hosting the second Mayor's Community Barbecue this afternoon in Barrhaven, highlighting the importance of supporting local food banks. Food, festivities, music, and community fun were had by all at the Minto Recreation Complex, and it was a free event that was on this afternoon. And the Ottawa Food Bank was on site collecting donations. It's great to see the mayor out and about in the community, everyone there having a good time. Great day, too.
A great day for it, and tons of people as well.
Yeah.
I did want to go back and just talk about 14 goals for DB Pridham. That is nuts.
Yeah, she's leader, Golden Boot for the league. So
absolutely, just 16 games played for context.
Yeah,
and the second place for goals right now, 10 goals. So she's got a 4-goal lead.
In all the games that they've won, she scored in all but one game.
She's on a tear for the ages.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for this, Kimberly. Coming up, marking a special milestone, we'll meet the Panda twins celebrating their first birthday and introduce you to Jaja and Dee. I think I'm saying those names right when we come back. Here's a live look now through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It is currently 32 degrees.
Tonight, Air Canada flight attendants forced back to work.
Shame on you.
Why Canada's jobs minister intervened and ordered both sides into binding arbitration. Later on CTV National News.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Sanaya Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford,
the #1 Ford EV dealer in Ontario.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
And here's a recap of the top stories we're following right now.
I'm really mad because I was trying to make my return back to my country.
Traveler frustration. The federal government is stepping in and they're ordering Air Canada flight attendants back to work. They're also forcing binding arbitration between the union and the airline as negotiations drag on. A messy response to the province's recycling push. Some retailers, grocery stores in particular, say they're not ready to accept empties, and so they may pull alcohol off store shelves.
I think that's too soon because kids need to be having fun. The holidays aren't over.
And the quest to cool off is about to get a little more challenging here in Ottawa. Some city pools set to close down before the end of the summer, and that is obviously disappointing for many families. We'll take another look at the weather forecast, and fortunately for those families that are going to be looking for somewhere to cool off, they won't really have to look too far for tomorrow. Waking up to 19 degrees with a chance of showers, but not really warming up too much from there. We have a daytime high of just 21 degrees and a 40% chance of showers. 22 is the high on Monday with clear conditions carrying over into Tuesday with a high of 25, and then the rain very well may return on Wednesday, 40% chance and a high of 21. And we need that rain because we do still have a burn ban in effect across our region. Time now to check in to see what our team is working on for tonight. Kimberly Fowler is still here.
We'll also be checking in on any breaking news, of course, for the area. We'll also be checking in to see if there are any more developments, reaction from the big story this weekend. Again, the Air Canada flight attendant labor dispute. And also, tonight is the last night for Les Grands Feux du Casino Lac Limi with their grand finale showcase. This year's friendly competition saw light shows from Japan, Australia, Mexico, and Canada over the past 3 weeks. Tonight's fireworks are expected to start around 9:15 outside the Canadian Museum of History. And you can get the news anywhere, anytime at ctvnewsottawa.ca. Join me tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
Thanks for that. Those fireworks are going to be phenomenal.
Looking forward to it.
They have been all the time. Yes.
Absolutely.
You gonna read this? Do you want me to read this?
You can read it.
Okay. Finally for us tonight, a very special birthday in China.
Yes, China's Ocean Park Zoo celebrated the birthday of two of its biggest tourist attractions today, the giant panda twins.
So that is Jaja and Didi, and they were treated to a cake with some frozen bamboo and carrots in front of their adoring fans for their birthdays. They are turning 1, and very special time.
Yeah, fitting birthday present.
Yeah, no
Looks
kidding.
like they love it.
Oh, they're adorable.
Way to go, Jaja, Didi.
That's the news. Good night.